The files we're going to be using today are the Tree of Life Monogram Bundle 2 and the Flower Icons set. So let's get into that. I took all the flowers and I put them into one file and called it All Flowers, because I'm original like that. We're going to go with the blank one. Okay. So what I want to do is first I'm going to change this, because this part here is what I'm going to do with the flowers. So look at the flowers and figure out which one reminds you of your mom or your grandma. I like this one. So what I'm actually going to be doing with this is replacing this whole entire center section. So to do that, I need to size this up. An easy way to figure out the size is to take your pen tool, find the center, because there's going to be an anchor, and you can hit your shift key to drag it across, and then the escape key to let go. And this now will tell me the width. So I'm going to copy that, delete that, sorry, and then this has these little doodads, which I want to sit on the outside here. So I'm going to do the height, because that is the right height. Enter. And now it's going to fit perfectly. Work. I'll go down to the bottom. Everything lines up perfect. Okay. So now we're going to take that original one and we're going to delete it. And then we're going to select this, go to Object, Compound Path, and we're going to release that compound path. And the reason we did that is because we also want to ungroup it. We want to just select this, because if all of that was together, here, I'll actually demonstrate. Too far back. If I select this and hit Pathfinder, the center will disappear. We don't want that. So to avoid that, we ungroup it, and you can right click and release to. And we release the compound path and only select the outside, and then select the tree. And now we hit Pathfinder, Unite, and that part's done. So I'm going to select everything now and go to Object, Compound Path, Make. So now this is back to being one compound path. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to do is text. On the bottom here, you could put Grandma, Nana, Mima, whatever you want. I'm doing this one as a gift. So my sister's mother-in-law, her name is Peanut to the grandkids. They call her Peanut. They don't call her Grandma or Nana, it's Peanut. So all caps, Peanut. And I like to use Antarctica headline bold. It's a solid font. It's not too big, it's not too small. change this to 1.9. Now, I'm going to change the color on it just so I can see these lines a little better. And all I'm looking for is to make sure that the top line and the bottom line go through it. And it does. So for centering it, I have my text centered. I'm just going to grab this and go right to the very end. Sorry, my dogs are barking. And the very end of that one. Then I'm going to right click, create outlines, and that part's done. When I go here in my layers panel, before I merge this or make it a compound path, I'm going to make sure that it is below this layer. Because if it's above that layer, when I select it, it's going to take whatever style, fill and stroke style, is above in the layers panel. So when I click this, it's going to turn red. See? Which is fine because you could always just go over and swap out the fill and stroke, but it's easiest to just make sure that this layer is the one that's on top. And now it says peanut. That part's done. So using the NFC tags, we use an ellipse. We're going to grab the ellipse tool and we're going to make the circle. They're 1-inch tags. Give yourself a little bit more. Go like 1.009 inches. 1.009. Okay. And then I'm going to make them green. Just because when this imports, or when I import this file into Glueforge, I want to make sure that this imports as a different color. So whatever I do engraves for names, that'll be a different color. Now to set this one up, because we're going to have multiple options here for using the NFC. This one to start is going to sit right here. So it'll be hidden behind this part. You won't see this. So I'm going to grab this layer now, and this is just setting up placement. So I've got that layer. And now I'm going to shift click and then drag it off. And now that's placed. So that's exactly where that will need to engrave. Because this is a 2-layer, this is the back layer, it's just getting sandwiched in there. So I'm not worried about flipping it. On some of the other ones that I do, I flip them. So this one will not have to be flipped. All right, so now I was thinking about doing heart shapes for the grandkids' names. So let's make a heart. We're gonna do a circle. And let's make a second circle. Make sure those are aligned. And now we're going to see how deep we want that to come. Yeah. All right. So I got those. It's easiest to do this in outline mode. View, outline mode. Now we're going to grab the square. And you can just make it bigger. It doesn't really matter how big the square is. And we're going to rotate it 45 degrees. We're going to grab these two and group them so we can center this. And now we just want this moved up until it touches. Is it touching? It is not. So we'll go up one more. All right, so it's just over, and that's fine. So now we're going to go and we're going to select everything, take the shape builder tool, and just drag it over the parts we want. After that, we're going to go to our layers panel, and we're going to move the heart shape into a different layer and then select the stuff that we don't want and delete that. And we're just left with a heart shape. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this heart shape and we're going to put it over the NFC chip, well, the engrave, and we're going to size it up and we're going to make it bigger until we feel like that's right. I'm going to click on the engrave, and then I'm going to go to my layers panel and duplicate it and put it in the same group as the heart. And then I'm just going to drag it off. Now from here, I'm just going to putz with it a little more. And then I'm just going to center that and make sure that there's enough on each side. Like I said, I need 8 of these, so 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just want to make sure, the only reason I'm doing this, like I said, I just want to make sure that the size that I have is a good fit. And I'm happy with that. So I'm going to extend my artboard a little bit, grab this entire layer, and move it off. Okay, so when you do this, you will have to flip these, because you're going to have the name engraved on the front and then the recess here engraved on the back. And the reason for moving all of those into their own layer is so I can turn them off and add text, which I will do now. You know, I don't struggle this much if I'm not trying to do a tutorial. So I'm going to set the first one where I want it, and then I'm going to drag this down. And the reason for that is because I do Alt-click and just get it in line. And then all of my other names will be at the same height. Okay. So I'm happy with that text. I'm going to grab it all. I'll do it from the layers panel. And I'm going to right click, create outlines, and then I will do Pathfinder Unite. And the reason for that is all these little overlaps, if you don't use Pathfinder Unite, or in Inkscape it's Weld, I believe, and it's not Pathfinder, it's something else, but all of these where they overlap will be blank. So when you unite them or weld them together, it's one solid shape, basically. And it also put it in a compound path for me, so I can change the color. We'll go blue. And I changed the color again because if I left it black, then it would import with all the other black ones, which are cut lines. So now I will turn those back on. You need all the layers visible when you go into, when you take this into Glowforge. All the layers need to be visible, because if I turn this off and took it into Glowforge, then these just won't be there. Let's see. I feel like there should be something here. Kind of like that. Okay. So we love you, Peanut, all their names. So this one here, Each heart is programmed so each kid can record a message and send it. And then I have this one here kind of as an option to show that you could just have one message. So you could just have all of this be just be the normal file, nothing fancy. You don't have to do all of these, and just have it play one single message. So that's an option. So we are going to save. All right, let's go to Glowforge. Okay, so one of the things that I just realized that I did, sorry if it's loud, the Glowforge is on, is these hearts here, they have to be flipped. This one doesn't. So I'm actually going to go back into Illustrator, and I'm going to change the color of those engraves. So all of these, this one's going to stay on, but these ones are getting turned off. My engrave here is going to go up to, the speed is going to be 930-ish, full power. And I'm going to drop it down to 225 for LPI. The other engraves will be normal. Those I'm dropping to 195. And then this layer is ready. Now, something to remember is after this runs, we will be flipping all of these hearts over. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just going to take a piece of tape, grab my hearts, and flip them over. I'm not going to touch anything else. I'm not going to touch anything in Glowforge. I'm just flipping over the hearts so that we can engrave those recesses like this one for the chip. Okay. Alright, sorry if it's a little loud. I got the Glowforge running in the back. It's on. So we're going to ignore that main one we did. We're going to ignore all the cuts. We're going to ignore the names. And we're just going to turn on the other NFC chip recesses. Now, we're not worried that it doesn't line up or anything like that. We're basically using this as a jig. So we're not going to touch anything. We're just going to run it. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and run the front side. Okay, so I've just finished the cut, and surprise, surprise, it came out beautiful, because everything Daryl makes cuts beautifully. But I realized that I want to color this, like have this pink and have this green and have around it different colors. And I didn't create score lines. So if I had a brain, I would have. So I'm just going to show you real quick how to do that. So I'm going to grab just the outside petals, not this part and not the center. I'm going to copy it because this is a compound path, so anything I do edit-wise would affect the entire thing. I'm going to paste it as a new layer. I'm going to line it up exactly where it was, and then I'm going to change the color and make it like orange. Excuse me. From here, I'm going to go to Object, path, offset path. And that looks good. So what we're looking for, we have the original path on the inside here, and I just want a score line in the middle to show me where my boundaries are for coloring. 7 looks good. I could try 6 or 8, but these are really close and I don't want them overlapping. So I'll go with 7. And then to take away those inside lines, I'll just select the whole layer and hit Pathfinder, and that eliminates the lines on the inside. They're absorbed. So then I'll have, these would be strokes. Those would be scores on this layer. So I'm going to take this again, because I obviously need this done on the back layer. And I'm going to line this up so it's perfectly aligned. And then I'm going to grab that layer as well and then move it off. And that would have given me scores on the back. And I'm not worried that this comes out past because it's just going to get cut off anyway. But this bit here sticks out over the side. So I'm not worried about that. But this would have been helpful. Okay, so this part of it, we're going to glue in the NFC chip. Alright, that's flush. Okay, so I'm going to stain it. I'm going to stain this. This is a little stand that I have for the back, and I'm going to stain the back of this as well. And then I may go ahead, because this is mahogany, this is the Varathane mahogany I just put in these bottles. I might go over the leaves with some of this copper Glamour Dust glitter paint, because I like that stuff. Alright, let's get to it. So I've already sealed this with tung oil, but we're gonna see. This is classic gray. That tung oil hasn't fully set yet, and I did sand away some of it. I like that better. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and glue this down. So glitter, paint, or metallic unicorn spit. Okay. Now we're gonna get the chips in these. So I'm just taking my finger and I'm just going around the engrave. Okay, chips are in. So now we pick the order that we want them and we get them glued down. Yeah, I like that. Alright, let's glue them down. And I'm just gonna sand these. Alright. Last thing to do here is put the stand on, which I don't know if I want to do yet. I'll put this piece on at least. Okay, so for this, what I want to do is I want to show you how I extract my audio from a video and get those files set up. I'm going to use audioextractor.net. Go to open video. Find the video you want. Like I said, my sister hasn't sent me the video link yet, so I've not done it. So this will go. Once it's loaded, then I will convert it to an MP3. Okay, so that finished. And now we're going to make sure it's set to MP3 and we're going to extract the audio. And then we're going to download it. It's downloaded. Now I'm going to open my Google Drive. I created a folder called Sherry's Anniversary Project. And I'm going to upload the audio right here. Generic files. Okay, now I'm going to share. And under this, I'm going to do anyone with link. And then I'm going to hit done. The rest of it I'm going to do from my phone screen. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to program these NFC chips that we have in here and then in all the hearts. So I'm going to be using audio from a different project, but it'll show you how to program it. And I'm not worried about it because you can rewrite these chips as many times as you want, as long as you don't lock the chip. So to start, we are going to open up our Google Drive where we had that audio saved, and we are going to start grabbing names. We're going to click the file we want, copy the link, and then go to NFC Tools, and we're going to hit Write, Add Record, URL. We're going to paste the link that we just copied from our Google Drive, and I'm going back to the front here, and I'm getting rid of the HTTPS because that's over here. Make sure you get rid of the :/ as well. And now that's there, so we're going to hit Write, and then mine sits right here, so I'm going for this one. That write is complete, and so I'm just going to go ahead and do it for all the rest of these. Okay, so I've closed everything, and now we're just going to test them.
Hi, Nana. We love you.
Let's go, Emily.
Love you, Papa.
Oh, that was Tyler. Let's get Emily's.
Merry Christmas, Papa. I love you.
I love you, Papa.
Hi, Papa. Merry Christmas.
So the audio that I'm using on these, even though this is for Grandma Peanut, is from my project for my dad. So I will replace the audio with the actual audio, but this was kind of to show you how that works. And that's it. It stands. I've got the stand on the back. And we're done.